Here are your gap and go trades for the week of October 14th. I will go over price targets, have a gap recap from the week of October 7th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is Sofi. We ended the week at 901, up 4.4%. To the north side from where we are takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area at 910. Above that, at another level of resistance and potential take profit area as well, 917 and roughly 925. To the south side, back at the middle of the trend and the baseline. And in this situation, one level of support, 895, 881, 874, and roughly 866. Looking left, note the bounce here at support, 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 and support. And then the sell-off here at resistance and resistance. Obviously, turn on your Bollinger Bands, your VWAP, draw your trend lines. You can get other levels of support and resistance. Taking a look at the gaps. This gap is still in play to the downside, taking us down to 747, but we are moving farther away from it because we are in an upward channel still on the 5-minute time frame. And this gap is still in play. I will extend it into the following week, but do not anticipate that we hit it. This gap, beginning at 857, I will flip this over to the 15 minutes so we can see that better. Oh, no, it's not even letting me scroll. Let's go to the 30. So this gap started on March 6th, and we finally closed it on Monday. Right here actually is where we touched. So let me clean my chart up. Right there, it touched. So sorry, that was Tuesday. We went from 820 all the way to 857 with this gap. This gap is no longer in play. We closed to the upside. I will delete my price labels. And that way I know it is over. So congrats if you played that gap and made some money. As you can see, I've tracked this one for a very long time. I've tracked it to the upside and to the downside. This thing has whipped us around, and finally we are making some headway here. Switch that back to the 5-minute. So we touched this gap on Friday. I will extend this into the upcoming week. And again, all I'm tracking for my gap and go trades, this is the 45th one I've done. I'm tracking from Monday to Friday, and we are in an upward channel. Obviously, we can roll down, but then bounce back up to continue the upward trend. But we touched this at 9:03, the high of the day. Where is it? Oh, it's up here. The high of the day on Friday was 9:07, and we touched 9:03. And this gap will close out to the upside at roughly 963-ish. And that could touch on Thursday if we continue to go up to fill it on Thursday. Well, we're going to touch it on Monday and the rest of the week if we continue our path. And then the target after that is this one that will take us up to 994, and that could touch on Thursday as well. The next one I want to go over is Boeing. First, your price targets. Option R to reset this. Ignore the yellow lines. Those are previous support and resistance lines that we are retracing. Oh, one other thing on Sofi. Let me go back. The middle of the trend is now here. I'm going to change that color to yellow. And previously, The previous week, starting October 7th, that was the middle of the trend. So if you played the middle of the trend to the middle of the trend from last week, that was a 10% gain. But if you bought, here was the low, and here was the high, that was 11%, so pretty close. Just delete that. So this is the middle of the trend. What I'm anticipating for the upcoming week is either we grind sideways if we consolidate for another potential leg up, or we follow the middle of the trend where price likes to rest before making its way to the upside or to the downside. Check out your RSI, your MACD, and whatever indicator also that you like to use. We hit 8.14 previously, so we've hit the price target. The next one after that is now $12. Now back to Boeing. So we are right here at resistance. I will anticipate a rollover and then a potential bounce off of that if we hit support lines. Those are your support lines. To the north side, 152.90-ish, and resistance 154.79. I set it out to 4 standard deviations. If you're at the middle of the trend, I never expect it to hit there. But if we're here, that could touch. And if you want more lines to appear, flip it over to the other time frames. It'll give you also different buy and sell signals. 147.26, 143.33, another level of support, 141.49. And I do not anticipate we get to this level, 139.61. And if we do, you can bet there will be a bounce as people buy the dip. All right, note the bounce at support and support. And then this turns into resistance on the way up. We busted through, didn't quite make it to here and started to fall off. And now we're just kind of going sideways and we hit this level, but I anticipate we will hit this level. Now, as far as cleaning up the gaps, this one formed on Friday, October 4th, and it touched on Wednesday the 9th. So this gap to the downside is no longer a threat to our account. So that is done. And what about this one? So we gap down. Oops, so I will anticipate a gap up. Let me change that. This is why you have to go back and update your chart. I just quickly do it sometimes and then I forget to change the color just to move on. So that will take us now to 154.59-ish to the upside. And that would be resistance at 4 standard deviations, roughly. Right? And I don't see any, oops. Command Z if you want to undo anything that you accidentally did. So the gap after that will take us to 169.52 and wipes out at 173.61. But we are in a downward channel, still downward pressure. The bears are still in control here. The high of the day was 151.12. The 52-week high, 267.54. Rivn is the next one. We ended the week at 10.50. Resistance is at 10.62, at least one level of it. There are many in between. I like to play between 2 and -2 standard deviations. Anything outside that is gravy for me. And these lines also represent sometimes greed, because you think, oh, I'm going to wait for it to hit that line, and then it never hits the line, and then it starts to fall on you like this. Starts to sell off. Now to support. This is support. It fell even below that. Didn't quite get here, but bounced. Okay, I digress. 10.62, 10.75, 10.87, 10.37, 10.12, 10, and 9.88. Looking left, we have this gap that opened up on Friday, October 4th. I've started to put dates here just so I don't have to waste my time scrolling and then making it bigger, because sometimes I have to go back months and months and months to find out when this gap opened. Okay, that looked like it touched, but if you make this chart bigger, when you make it larger, you can see that it clearly did not touch there, and it touched right here. So that took us to Wednesday the 9th and up to 1076. We ran even more and then started to slide off. The next target for Rivn, so that one's done, that one's done. Where is that it? That can't be it. Is that it? Oh no, here's one that I've been tracking. $16.90. I'm not going to hold my breath just yet on this one. We are moving farther away from this channel, this area, this zone. So we are not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Do not expect this to get hit or touch anytime soon. We are still going down on the 5. Of course, if you flip it, you're going to get different buy and sell signals. I'm on the 5-minute time frame once again. Oh, one other thing. So I will mark out the middle of the trend, and that is at 1037. Again, we're gonna grind sideways or just continue to follow these lines south. But oh, I guess I never did it for last week. So last week we ended, I don't know where we started, but right here. So we are going down. Intel. $23.73, roughly $24.14, $24.33, $24.53, and to the south side, $23.33, $23.12, and $22.92. This gap opened up on Thursday, and then it also closed out on Thursday. So so we gapped down, and then that means we fill up, but look at this. And then we bounced off of that. This gap touched here. So my next target is $29.04, which has been my target for a very long time now. Every time we seem to be making some headway with gains, it gets wiped back out. But that's why it makes a good swing trade. Or you just invest in an ETF and forget about it. But of course, I would be looking at the ETFs too and selling at a high, buying back at a low. All right, this took us down to roughly $21.99. Bounce here at support, selling off at resistance. And let me draw the middle of the trend. That's this for this week, and last week we were here. So we went from here to here, and from the middle of the trend to the current middle of the trend. That is a return of roughly 6.29%. And for the day, we're just up 1.46. But if you were able to catch it here and then sold out, is that right here? Yeah, that's the high. So that's an 8% return. Delete. I got enough stuff going on my chart. I don't need that. All right, NEO. 6.24, 6.36, 6.43, 6.50 to the south side, 6.21, 6.07, 6, 5.93, and then this gap takes us down to roughly 5.80, this one 5.67, and then this one at 5.34. All of these are to the downside. This one, so we are here basically, it could touch and tickle these two gaps, but if we continue south, that will hit on Friday the 18th at a solid -2 standard deviations. We could touch and then bounce back up and then grind and then make our way here. And then if we were to close it out, that could be potentially on, oh, it doesn't even give me the date. I have to flip it over, but you get the idea. And as far as the gaps to the north side, this opened up on Wednesday the 9th and closed out on the 9th as well. Let me clean that up. It touched right there on Wednesday. And this gap is still in play to the upside, and that started on Tuesday. just double clicked in a certain spot right here, and you can change out and type whatever you want. And this gap is still in play, but note the downward channel on NEO. So we could touch it though on Monday. And I will put a price label. See how that, this is supposed to be 28. I don't know what happened. All right, so there. And the middle of the trend for this upcoming week is now, oh, hold on a second, is now, oops, wrong thing, is now right here. So we are at 621, and the week before, look at this, we were right here, and we're stair-stepping our way down. And that, from here to here, is down 6.88%. The high of the day on Friday was 630, the 52-week range, 957. Nike. $82.15, $82.45, $83.76, $84.40, $85.05, $81.12, back to this resistance line and support, and previously this was the middle of the trend. $79.81 and $79.82, and this is that gap fill. So let's take a look at this gap. Oh, I've already extended it out from just moving it from the previous week, but this one opened up on Wednesday the 13th. It's small, but still, this is still in play to the downside at roughly 80.83. This gap, geez, this is a big one here. Okay, that one will take us to roughly 94.23-ish, 27-ish. Oops, Command Z to redo. And looking left, let's clean up this one. We touched right there, closed out on September 19th to the downside, 81.04 previously. And what about this one? This one touched on Monday, October 7th. Clean that one up. That was out of the gate. This is no longer a threat to our count to the south side. We went up and then retraced back down, and now we closed out this gap. Done. And what about this one? We touched here on the first on earnings. Okay, the reported 11.589 billion. The estimate was 11.643 billion. So they did not meet the revenue that they projected, but still. Then we bounced off of that and then fell back down to reality. Anytime we go outside to 3, 4, 5, 6, you know it's not going to stay there. But now this, we were going up and now we're going down. But when we go down, these lines turn into support. And I think that's it for now. Oh, what's this one? This one needs to be, oh no, that got corrected already. All right, so that was Nike. CVS, 67.35, 68.23, 68.65, and 69.09. 66.44, 66.03, 65.57. All right, 63.01 to the downside. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close, but we are right here moving up a little bit, creeping up, as you can see. This gap to $67. Did it, let me move this. It's actually $67.82 That should be right there, or 78-ish. 67.70 is what I had. Let me just change this. Just keep it consistent. But did we touch it? 67.70. Look at that. Right there. That is the power of the gap fill. All right. But where did we touch that previously? Why does it not look like it? Did it wick? Oops. Let me make sure this is correct. 67. Oh, that's because I accidentally moved it. There we go. Okay. That is in line with the target that I already drew out. And we touched right there on Friday. Let me just make sure this is, again, since I moved it, 67.70. Wow, right on the nose. You know how many times this happens? A lot. All right, so this gap is no longer in play to the upside. Oh, and that is the last gap I'm tracking. I'll show this to you on the daily. Yay. I picked this as part of my gap and go because it's in the fund of Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund. And then it got slammed down. So I thought, oh, I'll just track it for a gap up. What goes up must come down. What goes down doesn't necessarily get back up again, but sometimes you have to get down to get back up. That's in stocks, in real estate, and in life. I will draw out this gap. Make it. You can click right on here, this will show, and then tap on that. And that opened up on Thursday, October 10th. All right, so this gap is still in play to the downside, but we could touch that on Monday. And I will not be tracking this anymore because I don't track gaps to the downside. I just try to help you track things to the upside. So if you like to short, just keep that in mind. And then there's a gap down here to 63.01. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close because we are going up. Okay, there are many gaps to the downside now. And let me just draw one other thing, which is now the middle of the trend for the week. And that is up here. 67.35 is the target. But obviously 67.70-ish was where we previously landed. But, you know, here are your targets, as I just gave to you, all the way up to 69.09-ish, if we're able to get this high. Okay, now let me flip this over on the daily so you can see. I have tracked this many, many, many times. So we are right here. The targets are red, white, and blue. So to the upside, one window will be 70.90 and back to the middle of the trend, and that will close out this gap, 59.10. The 1 year price target is 68.36, and then after that, 86. Option R to reset. So because we filled the gap, the only gap that I was tracking to the upside, I will no longer be tracking this. So I will add another ticker, not today, because I don't know of any gap plays for today because I forgot to look ahead. So I'll just do the 10 today and then add one later. Or maybe I'll do SPY, I don't know. Apple is the next one. $229.29, $231.43, $232.50, $233.58, $227.13, 226.05, and 224.91. This gap is still in play to the south side, roughly at 216.85, 221.07. We almost wiped it out. That's too bad we didn't. This will come back. You know, this did not close out. So this will haunt us still. And then we created a new one, new gap. There. All right, and this gap closed to the downside at roughly 228.01. This gap is still in play to the upside at 232.19. And then we have this gap to the upside at 234.61. All right, so we are still in an upward channel as well. Did I give you, did I give you, sorry, I had to drink some water, the price targets? I think I just gave you the gaps. But anyway, let me do that again. 231.50, 232.54, roughly 233.57, 227.17, 226.06, and 225-ish. All right, this gap also still in play. Oh, wait, no, it touched. Nope. Right there, it touched right here on Thursday. Opened up on Thursday, closed on Thursday. And then those other gaps I mentioned. All right, the next one is Tsly. Option R to reset. Oh, wait. Apple's new middle of the trend for this upcoming week begins right here at 229, and the previous week was, it was right here. So we've gone up one leg, and that leg is roughly only 1.84%. Beats keeping your money in a bank at Chase 0.001% or 0.004%. No, thank you. Remove. Tsly. Okay, we are going down. Note the downward channel. 1142, 1199, 1227, and 1257, 1088, 1057, 1027. So this gap opened up on Friday, October, what was that? 11. So we've got the potential to go up to what? To close this out. 1223-ish. We gap down, so then we fill up. And then this gap here. That will take us to roughly 1367. We've got another gap up above that. Oops. Command Z to reset. 1413. Oh, well, let's look at this gap. Did this one close? Yep, we tickled it and touched right here. So that is no longer a threat to our account to the south side. That closed out on the 9th. And what's going on here? When I see price labels, I either have to clean it up, knowing that I hit a target or that it needs to be extended. So that one touched at 1334. Done. Okay. I'm in this trade too. And I've made some money, and I've lost some money, but I haven't sold out because why do I have this one? Oh, that's because I think I drew it there and it didn't work. I will be, next time I reach the targets, I'm definitely going to get out, but not right now. Oh, the middle of the trend for this week is right here, roughly at 1143, and the previous week, oh, it's right here, at roughly 1319-ish. So we went from here to this week here. Stair stepping down on the 5. Tesla. This is the last one for this chart, but I'll add another one just for giggles. That is taking us down to 201.61. Okay, that first your price targets. 221.64, 233.21, 238.58, 244.57, 210.28, 204.86, 198.85. Okay. And this gap, as I mentioned, this gap, because I had extended it from the prior weeks, that opened up on September 10th, and we closed this. Let me move this. We touched it on Friday the 11th. So we went up and then just basically fell back down, retraced. So this is no longer a threat to our account. There are other threats, just not this one. And then there was, that one closed. I extended this one and we touched it right here. That took us down to 228.82. Those were known gaps, known price targets to the south side. And option R. And I think a lot of people obviously do not trade the way I trade. So that's why you just have to develop a system that works for you, because I don't do SMAs, EMAs. I just don't. I'm terrible at it. I don't do dead cat bounces, frog leaps. Just kidding. I don't even know what that is. Why did that one move? Okay, let me just move that closer. I can't even see a teacup and handle, and every time I talk about that, I get unsubscribed, but I don't care. This isn't for those traders. This is just something different, and that's okay. So we gap down. I will anticipate a gap up, and that will take us to 238.46. If you're making money the way you like to make money, that is fantastic. And would I like to learn other ways? Yes. Do I have time? Not necessarily. 257.15 to the north side. And then part of it is I just don't care. Okay. That will take us to 291.06. And that is a look at Tesla. And I don't think there are other gaps. Oh, wait. Spoke too soon. There's another one. I will do this on the daily time frame at some other point. 144.88 is where this one will take us. And oh my goodness, could that touch? Let me flip this over to the 1 hour. See, on the 1 hour, we're going up. See how it gives you different buy and sell signals? Well, let's just go back to the 5. Now let's go to the 15. I changed my mind. Let me just, that could touch. I mean, it's not showing us the date, but not this upcoming week, but maybe the following, if we continue to go down on the 15 and the 5. Option R. Okay, because I'm going to remove CVS, since we hit the target, finally, I'm going to add MSOS. I know that I've done this one before many times, but we have many gaps to the upside to fill. Oops, Command C. All right, first, let's go. This is an ETF, a wacky bataki ETF, cannabis, and I am in this. Okay, this is MSOS. So we ended the week at 684. First, your targets. 688, 692, and back a line where I previously sold out, 695. To the south side, 682, 675, 671, and 668. This gap will take us down, this nasty gap, to 642. All these lines I've sold out of. All right, so, okay, the light pink lines, I no longer own those shares. I've been in and out. All right, so the next gap up is where? Oh, we've got that one closed out. Let me just clean that up. Did I track? No, maybe I didn't draw. I don't think I drew the gaps to the north side. So I will clean this up and not bore you, but we do have gaps to the north side that I will show you at some other time. But just know the price targets I gave you for the 5, if you want to play that. And yeah, I'm just trying to look here. Maybe there aren't. I don't know. But this is just going to be included in my 45th Gap and Go. I cannot believe I've made 45 Gap and Go videos. I think I could have made more, but I don't know if I started tracking it from the very beginning. But that does it for me. If there is a ticker that you want me to track, please let me know and have a fantastic trading week.